Hi everybody, this is Dee from Dee's Creative Hands. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave a basket with reed, and I'm going to incorporate some crochet into it, into the making of the basket. And so I thought I would show you. I told you guys I would show you when I did it. So I'm going to show you just off and on my progress of how things are going. I'm not really going to teach you how to make a basket per se. I'm just going to show you my process. Okay? So I am going to start to lay my framework for my basket. Okay, so that's the beginning, the starting part of the bottom of my basket. And I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so this is my twining. As you can see, it's round. I think this is a 3 millimeter. Anyways, I'm going to use this to start the beginning of my basket. And I fold it in half, but not perfectly in half. And I want to start with the very first one I sat down on the table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down. Okay? Let's adjust that a little bit. I'm going to bring this down, not too awful snug because I want to be able to move it, but I'm going to start weaving my basket. Okay? So the one on the top goes over. Maybe I should clip that. Well, let's clip it. I need my metal clips, and they're in the other room, of course. Okay, that's good enough for now. It's good enough for now. Okay, so now I'm going to bring the one that's on the top over. Making sure that those are tight in place. The one on the top. Okay. One on the top. And I'm going to do this till I've got about, I'm going to say 6 inches in diameter. And then I will add more spokes to the basket. And when I get there, I will come back and show you how to go about it. Now, one thing about basket weaving is that you always got to keep everything wet. So that's why I got the spray bottle. There's a bucket over here, a dish pan that I'm soaking other reed in. And everything has to stay wet and pliable. Otherwise, it's going to crack and break, and then you're going to have to start all over again. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Anyways, I'll be back once I've got 6 inches in diameter around my circle of the base of my basket, and I'll show you how I add in the next round of these. Little ones are called the weavers, and then the bigger ones we'll call the base of the basket. Okay, so I'm going to go around with the weaver until I've got 6 inches. Let's see. There's 3, so it's going to come out to here and out to here. So I've got 6 inches, and then I'm going to add in my my next spokes, my next group of spokes. Okay, and I'll be back. The yarn does come in as we're going up the sides. I'll show you that part. But everybody was asking me how I made baskets, so I thought I would show you how. And I did crochet a big long chain of some of the Darn Good Yarn banana fiber. And that's what I'm going to be using to decorate the basket and weave into some of the sides of the basket. And I'll be back once I've got my 6 inches and show you how I add the spokes. Okay, I'm back, guys. Mark and his brother are talking in the background, so just try to ignore that. But I've got my 6 inches, as you can see here. Oh, man, actually a little, no, I'm not. Okay. Yep, got 6 inches. Okay, I'm going to wet down everything. Everything has to be wet so that it's pliable. If it's not wet, it'll crack and break. So I'm going to wet it all down. Okay, now I'm going to lay my next spokes on. And basically I'm just going to be going in between. See, I've got the center mark. In between each one that I already have on here. I guess it really don't matter which direction I go. This is where these weight, I need a weight. It's coming in the mail, but I haven't gotten it yet. A lot of my basket stuff got lost by the wayside, so I didn't realize that until I wanted to weave this basket.
What kind of weight you need?
That's fine. I'm fine now.
I got a bunch of them magnets I can put together and make a weight. Some round ones.
Yeah, maybe 2 of those might do.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like 2 sets, you know? Okay, so now I've got everything in the middle. I'm going to weight it down with that for right now. Okay, I'm going to get one of my weavers out.
How's this?
Take them apart. I need 2 and 2. Okay, that'll work. I think. No, well, I'll get to it. Okay, so I got my weaver, and again, I'm not making them perfectly the same size, and bending slowly until it bends properly. This is my first weaver. As you can see, I put a little star on the top, so I'm going to start there. That's my very first weaver. I'm going to put that right in the center. Okay, so I just butt that up against, just set it down, butt that up against the one that I'm doing, and the one on the top goes underneath, one on the top goes underneath, one on the top goes underneath, and I use my awl here to, ooh, oh great, magnets aren't going to work because they're getting my, just snug it down there. This one's a little off kilter. You can adjust as you go. Once you've made the basket, though, it's pretty difficult to adjust, so you're better off adjusting as you go. Dog alert! Sorry. Okay, so then the next thing I do is just keep going around in the circle like this. I'm going to have to push them down with my awl. Yeah, these weights aren't working good. Let's see if this big one... Hold on, folks. Major catastrophe. The magnets are sticking to everything. Okay. Including my fingers. We're going to put them over there. Okay. Back to what I was saying. You can adjust them. You can just kind of eyeball them. You don't have to measure and get all exactly precise. You can kind of eyeball where it needs to go in the center. And then you just go around. Once again, use my awl, make sure it's all nice and tight. Okay. And the one on the top goes over. Goes under the spoke. And just kind of keep pushing it and doing this over and over again. Okay. When I get to, I'm going to say about 10, 12 inches, then I'm going to start working on the sides of the basket. Okay, so I'm just going to continue around. Oops, that was wrong. I'm going to continue around weaving the basket. Top one goes under, bottom one goes over, and adjusting as I go to make sure that it's even. This one needs to go, there we go, that's better. And this one will need to go. Now once I get one turn around, then I can get rid of the weight in the center. But for right now, I kind of need it there. Oh my gosh. I'm talking and then lose the track. Okay, here we go. Alright. So once I get around it once, then I'll be able to get rid of the weight altogether. Alright, I'm doing a good job here. Get rid of the weight altogether, and then I can show you how it holds itself together. And so I will be back in just a couple minutes. Okay, I've made it all the way around, and now I don't have to have a weight. I can move it if I need to. Everything is, all the spokes or the base of the basket is holding in place. And so basically I'm just going to keep going around until I've got it, like I said, at about 10, 12 inches. And then I will show you how I go up the sides. Okay, and then you take your little on, push it up, make sure everything's fitting tight. Okay, there's thread on there. Okay, so I will be back once I've got my 10 or 12 inches. Okay, I obviously haven't got to my 10 or 12 inches, but I thought I would show you how, once you've ended a reed, how you add in your next reed. Okay, this is the reason why we make one longer and one shorter. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to nip it off, maybe a little shorter, there we go. I'm going to nip it off. I'm going to use my awl to get underneath. I'm going to bend this one, and I'm going to push it. I hope you can see that, where I pushed it in. Okay, now I will use a new one. Let me put this one in half, because, no, that's good. Okay, one fell on the floor. Okay, my new one, I'm going to put right in there with that. Okay, so this is the one that was supposed to go over, and this one's going to go under, over, under, over, under. I'm going to have to do the same thing again. My other reed is ending, my other weaver. Once at this point you can turn it around, over, under, over, under. And at this point, actually I can do one more. This would be over, and this would be under. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. I'm going to lift up my, and bend it. That's why it's important to keep it wet so that you can bend it without snapping it. Add another one in the same place. Okay. And this is under. Okay, so that's over, under. And you kind of hold it there for a second till you get a couple weaves in. Okay, and that's how you add in your weavers. Okay, and this will be the inside of the basket, and this will be the outside of the basket. Okay, so I will show you once again when I get to 10, 12 inches. Okay, I got my basket right around 10 inches. Yeah, and I think I'm going to stop there. And the next process is bending the twine, or bending the spokes up to start the sides of the basket. Okay, and how I do that is with, you know, the kind of pliers that you use for making jewelry, the round ones, those are perfect for this. I'm going to put this back in the water for a second. And then we're going to try to bend it. Okay. Okay, so now we go around and we take these pliers and we just pinch it a little bit. Make sure that it doesn't break. You're just pinching, kind of bending it. It puts a little ridge in your spoke, so then when you go to bend it, it bends pretty easy. Okay, so I just go around, pinch these. And they got to be really wet, you guys, you know. It'll crack or break, or it won't bend properly for you. We're left off over here. I don't know if you can see the little marks that it leaves. But that's what you want to do to get your spokes to bend. At least that's what I do. Seems to leave it a little neater, and like, you know, you don't have so many little hairs all over the reed. Not sure how far it got over here. Okay, now these will bend up pretty easily. That's wrong dimension there. Pay attention to that. See, once you've made that little crimp in it, they fold pretty easily. And fold where you want them to fold. Okay? Okay. All right. Now all of our reed is bent and ready to start going up the sides for the basket. And I've decided I'm going to make like a bean pot shaped basket where it's kind of wide and it goes in. I'll show you what I mean as we progress with it. But I'm going to start, I'll be right back and I'll show you. I'm going to get it all ready because I got to soak reed and all that for the sides. And I'll show you how I go about that. Okay, I'm bending another weaver. This is the one I have with the star on it, so that's where we're going to start. Let me spray it all down. Okay, so here's my starting point. Okay, what I'm going to do is put a little bit of tension on these as I go. And this one, I use a big clip. This one, I'm going to pinch down. Okay? All right, cooperate here. things bite. Okay. Now the next weaver I put in, I always put this on near a little round weaver for this round. But the next one that I put in is going to be a flat reed. And I'll show you that in a minute. It's also colored. So we're going to do that our next round. Okay, when I get to that part, I'll come back to you. Just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of my process. I know this is a lot different than crochet, y'all. But I'm going to show you how we can use crochet. Oh, there we go. On the floor. That's what I needed. How we can use crochet in all kinds of projects. Okay, I'm going to have to add a weaver here. So we're going to do that right now. Bucket. Okay. There we go. And basically I just wanted to get around to that starting point, which where is my, where is it? I'll look for it and I'll be back with you guys in a minute. Alright, hold on. Okay, I got a couple of my weavers in, and as you can see I used colored dyed reed. And you dye that with just like a RIT dye is fine, you know, a cloth dye is fine. Also you can stain it and seal it, which I will do later. I ended here. That's where this clamp is. So I'm going to go to the opposite side of the basket. And I'm going to start... Let me nip that end off. It's a little frayed. Okay. I'm going to start at... Sorry. Where it goes behind. Okay. And then I'm going to clamp it down. Okay, and now I'm going to continue to weave over. Now this is just over, under, over, under. Okay, and then I'm kind of keeping them tight so that it clamps it around. And pushing them down as I go. Now you can get super fancy. I'm just doing a real basic basket to show you guys. Plus it's been, oh my goodness, quite a few years since I've weaved a basket. Okay. Okay, I'm back to my starting point here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this, not where this one is clipped, but just a couple over, like maybe right here. Why are these clippers giving me trouble? Okay, so what I want to do, okay, over, and I'm going to hide that end in front of this one. So I'm just kind of pushing this down behind the other piece of the same color. Okay? So that is the beginning of our basket. Now I'm going to weave up a few more rows, and then I will show you how we go about putting our crochet in our basket, making it a part of the decoration on the basket. And I will show you when I've gotten some more up. I'm going to kind of pull it towards like this, make it a bean pot shape. But before I get to that, I'm going to put in our crochet. So I'll show you in just a moment. Something real quick. You know, it's been a while since I wove a basket. I had this wrong. You start out on the top and you pinch it, okay? And so then you go around, in and out, pushing it down as you go, in and out, in and out. So that when you get around, what did I do? This goes under, okay. So that when you get around to the where you started from, which I'll show you in just a moment, you're going to go over the top of where you started right there with your reed. I'm going to pull it snug, you go over the top, and you go in front of it a couple of spokes down. These my other nippers are better. Until you get where you can hide it behind this one. Okay, I was kind of doing it backwards there. It's been so long since I wove a basket. It's going back to me. It's coming back to me. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more, and then we're going to put our crochet in. But I just wanted to clarify that in case you're, wanting to know that you need to start on the front part of your spoke, not on the back part. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I think I got it where I want it. Now I'm taking this is the banana fiber from Darn Good Yarn. And all I did was make a chain stitch and did a pretty good size length of it. And I don't know if I'm going to have to piece them together or not. So, you just kind of use your own judgment. But I'm folding the whole thing in half that I made, and I'm going to do the same principle as I did with the twining, which was the round reed in the bottom. That's called twining. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right over the spoke of the basket, right here. One under, one over. Same thing here. One under, one over. One under, one over. One under, one over. One under, one over. And you see how that chain starts to fit right down into the basket. And that all that is a single crochet chain, a chain. And you just loop it around and loop it around. I'm going to make a pretty good sized section of it because I like my yarn in my basket. And basically, I'm just trading off one for the other, over and under, over and under. I'm going to keep going around. And I'll be back to show you what it looks like after I've got my crochet piece in there. I still want to do a lot more to the basket, but I want to show you what it looks like once I've got the banana fiber that I crocheted wove in. But I'm going to show you to the end of the row. So I can show you. You just keep going. Okay, there's where I started. I'm going to go right over the top of it. Do the next round. Pull it tight. Push it down. And continue on. Okay? Alright, I'll be back once I got some more of this done. Oop, I see I got a little spot came out. Fix that with my awl. And you got to make sure you keep this basket wet. So I am going to dip this end in my my big spokes and to soften them up some because I am going to start going in with the basket. So I'll show you the next part once I get there. Okay, so this is as far as I'm going to go with my crochet up the side, my crochet chain. And now I'm going to put some more weavers on the top of this to hold this in place. And I'm going to use more crochet in it, but I'll show you in different ways than I used it right here. Okay, so my next step is going to be to weave some more up here. I'm still curving the basket in. And then I will show you how to do, I'm going to do the brim and how we're going to decorate with some more of this yarn. So I'll be back. Okay, so I put a couple more rows of the reed in there, and then I nipped these long spokes off. So you can kind of get the general shape of the basket. Okay, now what I'm going to do is the ones that would be folding over, I'm not going to cut. But the ones that would not be folding over, which is every other one, I'm going to cut down as close as I can get to the reed. Okay? And that is my next step. Let me get this done and I'll show you how I'm going to put on, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bend these over. I'm going to get it wet. I'm going to bend these over and I'm going to weave them on the inside of the spokes going downward. And that's going to hold the top on here, and then we're going to put a brim on the basket. That'll be our next step. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I've got some of them done. Now there's going to be a brim on this that covers this raw edge. But I kind of wanted to show you, this is another form of an awl. And you basically just bend it down and feed it. You go over the very first weaver and down into the rest. Okay, again, you have to make sure you're keeping your basket wet. The yarn is dry, but the rest of the reeds that I'm working with are not. Okay, let me push that. Okay. Oh, I forgot all about that light. Can you guys see okay? Let me turn this on. I forgot all about this light through this whole thing. Oh. There we go. That might help, huh? Okay, so I'm bending this over and putting it down in there. Okay, so that bends. That's the starting of our brim. And now I'm going to put 2 pieces of reed, which I'll show you. 2 pieces of reed. I'm going to put a piece of my crocheted yarn in between the 2 pieces of reed like this. And then I'm going to whip around it like this in order to hold the band in place. Okay, so that's our next step. But I've got to get it measured, cut, and put in place, and I'll be back. Okay, I hope you can see what I did here. I took some of the large flat reed, and I ran some on the inside and some on the outside and clipped it. Then I took some of our braided banana fiber, or not braided, our crochet banana fiber and ran it in between. Now I know it looks a little misshapen, but I'm going to take the banana fiber and I'm going to tuck it, and then I'm going to take a needle and I'm going to go over and over and over and over it. And that's going to hold our brim in place. Okay, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, what I'm doing now is I went around once with my needle and my yarn. I went around once, and now I'm going back a second time and making X's. I'm just going back in and out and in and out and in and out. And that'll hold our brim of our basket. It's still wet, so I still have to work with a little bit the shape. But that'll hold the brim of our basket, and then we're going to put some decorations on it. But let me see, let me get around to the X's. But that is how it's going to look when it's done. Isn't it pretty? And I'll put some decorations on it, and I'll be back to show you guys what I meant. Okay, everybody. Our basket is done. And this is what it looks like. I put a beaded tassel. I also made a tassel out of the banana fiber. And a little bit of shaping as it dries. And this is going to be our basket. And here's the bottom. Our basket for our Saturday night. What's up Saturday night? I can't even talk today. What's up Saturday nights? And all I got to do is sign the bottom. And it's all done. So what do you think?